Alright. Final bit for Legacy. Still here with...
Just loot these corpses. They're not gonna need it. Sorry, Grey Wardens.
Yep.
Look, that's
Now, to release the seal.
3 more to go.
I suppose he won't stop coming after us unless we do this.
Probably not, no.
Not.
If Inquisition allows people to learn anything, Corypheus is vindictive.
He's a bit of a shit. He's also kind of stupid, let's face it. Or at least he makes poor managerial decisions. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Definitely poor decision on that part. Don't put the easily swayed in positions of power.
Or the clumsy, or the inept.
All it takes is just a single drop of our blood for a light show to happen.
Here, let me give you my sword.
And there he is.
He emerges. I will bind him.
Huh, that didn't work.
Shit.
Well, at least that is appropriate.
Yeah.
Wake from? Am I in dwarven lands? I see no roads.
And
So empty.
some very old speech patterns from him.
Serve you at the Temple of Dumat? Bring me hence.
And this is the little bonus dialogue we get for actually doing the Demont altar.
Was the first old god to become an archdemon. There haven't been temples to him since ancient Tevinter.
You look human.
Well, he sounds just downright conversational.
Citizens of the Empire.
Yeah.
Slaves then to the dwarves.
I think it's a really, really large makeover
Why come you
in
here?
Inquisition if you look at this.
Whoever you be, you owe
He also looks very
fealty
different
to
from
any
the
Magister of Tevinter.
ad for this DLC.
On your knees, all of you.
If Janet
Fuck you.
I won't risk leaving you alive.
You are what held me. I smell the blood in you.
And he has some really strange eyes.
Lord, tell me
Kind of like,
what
Yeah, he's got one lazy eye. Need to get him some glasses to fix that.
we sought the golden light. You offered the power of the gods themselves. But it was black, corrupt, darkness. Ever since. How long?
He speaks of the Golden City. He was one of them, the Magisters who violated the Maker's sacred space. They became the first.
I think
gods.
that's illegal.
It was he and his kind who brought the blight down on all of us.
yeah, just a little bit.
There were no magical boogeymen who trespassed in the Maker's city. It's a story. It's Chantry.
Look at that dude, Anders.
Where do you think Darkspawn came from?
Some creation of the old gods.
It's like totally fake.
I like how he says that the Maker's bullshit. It's just a story. Well, where did they come from? Oh, it was totally the old gods. Okay, so are gods bullshit or not?
On the dangers of magic.
Yeah. Well,
This is
it doesn't matter.
nothing more.
Doesn't matter what he was before.
Manner of speech.
It's a Darkspawn. We kill it.
How long have I slumbered?
Corypheus must have been controlling me, whispering in my mind. That's what
You
the
dumb
Warden-
ass.
He can speak through the corruption.
If he's been calling the Wardens to free him, what's his plan? He seems confused.
I don't know. Everything I've read says he's been asleep in stasis. Perhaps calling us was only an instinct. But he can still become the threat the Wardens always thought he was. Larius was right. We must destroy him.
If he could reach the Black
Oh, too
City,
bad we
no
killed
one
that
would
dude and all his friends. They could have helped
need to
out.
kill him.
Yeah. Oops.
It was supposed to be golden. It was supposed to be ours. If I cannot leave
His voice is
with
way
you,
better in Inquisition.
I will leave through you.
Yeah, but this
I think
really fits it, seeing as it's like the him waking up type thing.
Yeah. I just got out of bed. Where are my teeth?
The fight with Corypheus is a long and arduous fight.
Unlike the one in Inquisition where you just beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah. His most annoying things is his melee hand swipes will have a chance to knock you back. Oh, and this. He does this too.
in my veins. You cannot avoid my fires.
Can't you just run in between them? I mean, jeez.
Yeah. He never uses this again after this fight, though. But just gotta touch the seals again. All 4 of them. And every time you do, you get a temporary buff of the element that each pillar represents, such as electricity, fire, nature, ice. And for the duration of this boss fight, after you click on one of the seals, when you kill something, it grants you roughly maybe 10% of your HP.
Thanks for that, Anders.
Yeah, they repeatedly say that throughout the entire fight.
You're like, shut up, I get it, for God's sakes.
A little something more.
Watch out!
Burn, you miserable insect.
He absorbed it from the statue.
As Anders just explained, yeah. Every time he touches one of the statues, absorbs its power, he gains a new attack. Or something special.
To mark. Grant me your powers.
And it's roughly every quarter of his HP he does this.
Well, I guess that makes sense since there's 4 of them, but still.
Scurry, little rat. The maze closes
And
in.
don't think this is going too well now. Because,
Horblum.
my party's down. They kind of got stuck.
Just gonna say it. They were just sort of standing there in the bad area.
Yeah, he kind of summons these rocks for his second one.
Who are you talking to, Hawk? What are we doing? Why am I here? Can I just leave?
Yeah, but this is a really annoying part of the fight because your companions could be standing right where the rocks get summoned, and they kind of get stuck there, and then they die because they can't move out of the fire.
Try the breaker box in the basement.
This really does fit as a good end boss, though.
Yeah, again, he seems a little... Of course you're doing this early, so I guess if you could have gone and faced off against Corypheus, say level 15 and Inquisition, you might have had a bit of trouble, but I'm sure there are people that beat the game at that level and still kick the shit out of him.
The main problem with doing and wait until later in this one is the fact that one thing they somehow were able to do in the combat system in this, but they didn't quite do originally in Inquisition, was scaling.
They actually patched that in, so there's some scaling native in the game, like with dragons. It used to be you could go to an area and fight a dragon that was level 15, and now they'll scale up to within a couple of you. But they've also added trials, and you can turn on basically a toggle that things in an area will always match your level. So you don't over-level areas like, you know, if you go to the Exalted Plains a bit late, you don't even get XP from stuff because you're so over-leveled. And if you're just doing regular content, you're gonna over-level those areas anyway. So that was a nice touch that they've added.
Don't forget dog! Yeah, dog.
Get him, dog!
Dog will outlast me. Mainly because dog doesn't get attacked, really. But you can see the issues that show up when you are the only target.
Yeah, it just takes you a while, if for no other reason.
Well, that, and after he comes down the second time, he has rock armor on, which you have to stun him, which doesn't always work. And then you can get trapped in a corner, where the camera doesn't like to help you in a corner. And because we're playing a warrior, we get the most out of stamina recovery when we kill something. That doesn't work in a boss fight too well.
Yeah, not when he's the only one.
And we're not having the best of luck here.
Run away! Run away!
Run away and heal. But luckily, you do have a relatively short-ish time on your heals for your potions. But doing this alone is, I wouldn't say impossible, but
Just really difficult.
yeah, it's extremely difficult, especially when let's skip to where
Let's try that again.
messed up before. He's come down. Everyone's mostly alive.
Bethany seems to be taking a nap, but
She tried casting barrier in the area of fire, and you don't move when you're in barrier for her for some reason. She kind of just sits there.
I'll cast a barrier on myself and stand in a puddle of fire. Ah, AI tactics.
Nothing I could do about that, because by the time I noticed, she was dead. But I am playing much more carefully now. Because I don't want to have to try this again. And now he pulls from 2 statues.
Feel the chill! You cannot outrun it! You cannot escape!
And I don't show it off, but you can kind of see it. The maze of rocks.
They now have lightning cast between them.
Yep. Every so often, different spots within the rocks will have lightning cast between them, and while you're moving about, icicles can fall on you. The icicles hurt a lot.
No! You are stronger than I thought, but not strong enough!
So if you side with Larius, do you just go and say, well, we're gonna destroy him, and then you get into the shit anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Larius help you?
No. He does.
Can't, because he's a Grey Warden.
Does the same thing she did and runs off.
I'm useless! Yes, you are. Get the fuck out.
But it's strange that Anders is able to attack if you remember the Codex entry that says he could stop Grey Wardens.
Well, maybe beating him stupid caused some sort of a...
And there went Anders.
Yeah.
He stood too close to electric rocks.
Let's finish this! Go down!
Like I say, that's not something you see very often. Your warrior and Varric standing last.
Yeah.
Is there a chill in the air?
Boss fight with bad pawns.
Yep.
Anywhere!
And yes, that attack is deadly. Mainly because lightning bad. And you have to be very careful if you're a melee fighter here, because he knocks you back into the rocks. I kind of picked like the worst class to play through this game with, technically.
I did alright as a warrior. But then again, I didn't have this DLC, so...
This boss fight kind of punishes warriors, or really close people in general. Mainly because the constant knockback, if you're the only target, and especially at this point, it's going to hurt if you hit the rocks. Must have dog assist us.
Dog!
Hit by an icicle.
Got an icicle in the face!
And the icicles do a pretty okay amount of damage, but the main issue with them is movement slow and attack slow.
Back to the home with you, Grandpa!
Yep. You see, we really need to make sure he's dead, though, because, you see, we get him pretty good here, but we gotta make sure. This is not me. This actually just...
The game did it.
Yeah, it went twice. I'm like, okay. I thought.
And all of that was still for nothing.
I thought I was gonna be stuck in a loop. Sad. Luckily, I wasn't. Gets a good solid level though. And a special thing. And some new armor.
That amulet. No one's used that pattern since before the first blight. It was unique to
How
a
would you
small
know?
sect in Tevinter, who worshipped the god Dumat. Corypheus really was an ancient magister. I always thought the Black City was just a story.
And sadly,
Even if it's true.
this was not what I thought it was, and it never is. Because honestly, I just wish it was. It doesn't matter. He's dead.
That we don't.
Nothing changes about the fact he's a corpse on the ground right now.
You're like, God damn it, I got Anders friendship points. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
You dumbass.
I'm so sorry.
Here's Janica being like, oh,
I really thought
oops.
I could do it. It never entered my mind that Corypheus had planted that thought.
You should fall on your sword before you shame the Wardens further.
You're right. The core. I hear it now, even with him gone. I'll return to the commander, report on what happened here. Then it's time for me to take the long walk. My gratitude you have for returning me to myself. I feel like a whole new person.
I said you wouldn't believe me.
When the Seekers arrived at the structure, this prison, it was destroyed. The Grey Wardens were there, but they said an entire unit had been lost. They did not mention this Janica. And now you claim the champion was not only there, but defeated a Magister. One of the Magisters of old.
Left there by the Wardens themselves.
A curious tale. I wonder if there's more to it.
Not yet. If I've learned anything, however, it's that everything catches up with us, sooner or later.
Yes, it does, Varric.
You have no idea, Varric. And it's kind of fun to see Cassandra without her sense of humor.
Yeah. We get a nice little scene with our family here.
Aw, that's sweet.
The important members of the family.
Freedom for you, so you could have a life together.
We kicked Gamlin out of his own house to have this talk.
It's like he's still with us.
He's at the whorehouse. I'm sure he's fine.
Not true. Not really. He went through so much to protect us. I wish he had shared the burden.
How did the heir to the Amels ever meet a Ferelden apostate anyway?
We do get a little bit of backstory on how our father was, which is
He
nice.
was a junior enchanter in the Gallows, back when they would perform at the Viscount's functions. I'd always believed mages were grim old men in strange robes, but Malcolm was... He was young, strong, never considered himself anything but the equal of every man there. And they all knew it and hated him for it. We found ways to meet more privately after that.
They snuck out.
Gross.
Want to go to Ferelden?
They snuck out somehow. Let's not push further. We don't want to know that.
They threw me out.
Well, lucky it was in a different time, or he would have ended up tranquiled.
Came from the circle with nothing. I never
Yeah.
realized what he went through just to buy a safe passage.
It would have been wrong to drag you into Grey Warden blood magic.
I just wish he was still here. I've made such an utter muck of it since he's been gone.
The Blight would have pushed us here no matter what. Father couldn't have stopped that.
He could have...
Bethany's always sensible.
I couldn't.
Don't blame Carver on yourself. Carver was not your fault.
Too hard.
That was an ogre.
Time before we'd learned anything. I don't know what to regret first.
That was forced scripting. You had no choice.
That is the end of the Legacy DLC.
Well,
We get to keep the key. It's pretty good.